Okay, we're back at the Discovery after a bit of a hiatus, but glad to be back. And of course, we have Elliot's parts now. I think most of you know that by now. And his parts continue to contribute to this looking really nice, considering we can't see that much of it, which is why, even though I do have the right size pods, I think these are the right size, fits through, they're pretty easy now, huh? But if that damn thing is sitting on the ramp, you're not gonna be able to see past it much to even see all the work that everybody's done on this. Elliot and them, and well, actually, they didn't do anything. They didn't have an interior in this model. They should have had one in it. But then again, they probably thought, what would poor Elliot do? So this is the front of the interior, and it's very accurate. It's transparent because all these little parts are going to go in here and be lit up. See, I think you can kind of figure that out. So so it's transparent for all the brass work that has to go inside of it. But the biggest problem here with what Mobius did, and if they're watching, they're not going to be happy with me. This part was made for the Stargazer version of the Discovery, which is very scale. I'm not saying this one isn't, it is. And these parts fit this very well, except for one big problem. This goes in here, and let's see, I'm going to put some light this way into it so that, can you see that, Mary? Okay, so this lines up like so, and you see that it can't really go in all the way, and that the windows aren't open wide enough. Those two gray things there are the edge of the windows. These need to be opened up more. So this is what Elliot was telling me about, and now that I got this part in there, I can see that. So what I'm going to do is kind of make a little scribe line here, or maybe a pen line. And I'm going to remove that. And I'm probably going to lose the windows too, because they're not quite right. I think it should be easy to make my own out of just clear PETG. But I want to mark where these... Now this is already glued in, so this is going to be really problematic. I glued this in before I realized, and before Elliot told me. I got two good lines there showing me where these windows should be cut open to. So this is going to be a good trick. I'm going to try to do this. I wonder if I can pop this out. I wonder if this whole thing would just sort of pop out. We're going to try. I'm going to get a little tiny screwdriver here, get under there and do some try. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's great. So that popped out rather easily. I don't know what all that is. What did I lose? Part of the model? No. It still goes in there just fine. I don't know what that was. Go past that. I think that's it. Now, it's right at the glass, so this windshield has to be made larger, as it turns out. I don't have two of these, so I have to be very careful. Right, Elliot? Elliot's watching right now going, oh. I'm going to try to push this glass out, because I didn't glue it in really well, just in case. So, oh boy, I tell you, we're batting 100 right here, right now. So, I'm going to score this a bunch of times. I probably just go right through it. Yep, I did. There we go. Goodbye. See you later. Now we're going to check to see how this fits in. Now it fits pretty well. It's still going to need a little adjustment. It's right, really close. What's interesting is that this is flat and this is supposed to be curved, so I guess this whole area is supposed to sit back because there is no curve to that, only on the sides. So what I have to do now is do a little bit of sanding, and that's how that fits, just like that. And it fits really well. And then the back of this goes on, and it clears the bottom, the hangar bay, very well. So that's going to work out really well. And yes, now I can see a lot more interior in there because the windows are open wider. I believe they're supposed to be open that wide. They might even supposed to be open wider. I'm not sure. I probably should check. So I've got this great book. You should all have this book. I love this book. And besides that, it's shaped like a monolith. So, but anyway, I'm going to wheel through here. It's not always easy to find everything in here because it's just kind of jumbled, the whole thing. But you think Discovery would be the Discovery and Space Station would be the Space Station, but they're kind of all over the map. So what I'm going to do is look through here. There's more. It's just a lot of Discovery stuff. There's a big centrifuge and getting caught on wires. And this is our set. And I'm seeing that the windows do turn to the side like that, and they're open all the way to the end, completely. Now, of course, this is the artwork that defines it. So what I really need to do is look at a picture of the ship straight on with him sitting outside. There should be one here. And if not, I have to check another book. So I have more than I need here, which is kind of a good thing because I want to get an idea where those two bars are supposed to be, and the only way to do that is to put this in here. In fact, I can just do this because they're probably right over those supports. So if I just put it there like that and get out my handy chart tape. Yes, the tape that dreams are made of. In my case, I've done more panel lines with this stuff than Carter's has pills, so I can get this right like that. Goes right there, like so. What I find interesting is that this is wider, and it certainly is inside the pictures of the set, than the frame on the outside. In fact, so much so, I'm going to check it again, because I can go wider. And there I go, floundering, trying to, there we go. I think they are wider. I really do. So, than that. Although that tape's the same size, this would be almost too wide. I might have some more chart tape. You see this size? By comparison, it's bigger. And it will match the thickness of that rather perfectly. But as always, there's a discrepancy sometimes between the set and the actual miniature. And I want them to be parallel, which they're not right now, so I'm going to straighten this one out. There we go. Interesting that it looks closer together, but then again, the windows are open so much wider, and it is consistent with Elliot's piece that he made for us. So, it's about the same distance as what they had. It's just, it's not as big. Oh, I remembered that I have the lunar model Discovery, and I remember that the modelers and Jim Key and the other people that was there, they were real sticklers for being accurate. So I went and looked at it, and sure enough, not only is this all correct, but there's another one of these down here, all the way down this far. So I gotta, there's actually 4, and that in that schematic for the Discovery that's in that book also shows it. So I'm thinking I need to put that right there. And it goes in like that, and it's starting to make more sense to me. So I think we're good to glue this in. There's a scratch on the window, but you know, it's dangerous out there in space. Oh, I got the new window, and there's no scratches in this one because they didn't hit anything debris in space. So it always makes them happier, I think. And I'm going to glue this in, which is going to be an interesting experience in and of itself because I'm not sure how well this is going to work using this in a glass. But I'm going to try to just sort of do that. So now I'm, oh boy, this stuff's really thin. I'm cutting the floor, the Velcro areas, because there's no gravity in a spaceship. This is not Star Trek. This is a realistic show about people in space when there's no gravity, and so you have to have Velcro in this part of the ship because we have the centrifuge. And so what I want to do is get this all to fit on, and it's kind of after the fact that Elliot sent me these parts, and these are the correct pads, and you can see where Hal goes here. So what I want to do is get him off without breaking him. Ho ho. Let's see how good I am at doing that. And yeah, there's styrene on the sides of this. The rest of it's all very promising. The rest of it's all brass. There, got them off. Hi, I'm still working on this. This interior, finally, I've got the amount of light I've been wanting to have in here, and this thing is really lit up inside. And it took a ton of strip lights, which I had a lot of problems with because the strip lights, the older ones, the older style ones that I have a lot of, they'll break internally if you flex them too much. And the newer ones that Elliot sent me are more resistant to that. And so I was able to get a lot of light in here. And you can see that that I painted a lot of cobwebs from those hot glue spiders. I painted all little details and stuff. It really looks nice. In addition to that, I laid in all Elliot's parts here, the brass parts for the Velcro areas, and made a new pad rails that are more correct to the right size. I put in the pads on the inside so that when you're looking through this way, you can see a pod in there, because I'm going to have one pod in there that you can see. The other one will be sitting, of course, on here, blocking all my hard work. Although now that I have it in there, I can pretty well see around everything. So I may end up leaving it here because this way I'll be able to light the pod up, maybe. We'll see. But I'm very pleased with these parts and how they worked out. And yes, I wanted to talk about these. These are fantastic. These are the pods from Falconware. And we've been talking back and forth on the internet and in emails. And these pods are much better than the first ones I got from Shapeways. And you can find Falconware on Shapeways. These are absolutely beautiful. All I did was shoot this with some primer, and then I shot it with some white, and they're gorgeous. These are by far superior to any of the ones I've seen. And most importantly, watch this. I'm the pod, and I'm coming out of the bay. That's right. It fits. It clears. And I want to thank Elliot for that because he worked with him, I know, about the size or something like that. But I mean, it clears just like it does in the film. So everything is real scale. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, Falconware, and so much. Your work's beautiful, and if you want pods for this model, get them from Falconware. And if you want some really cool brass, I think you can probably talk Elliot into fixing up with the brass. I still have a lot to go here, lots of other stuff, because the next thing we're going to go to, besides adding all these pipes and tubes and stuff to the engine section back there, but the next thing we're going to go to is we're going to go to the interior of the cockpit, and we're going to be putting in brass parts like this one, which will go right here, and those are all the screens that'll be lit up. I don't know how we're going to see these exactly, but I think looking through the window, we might be able to. Elliot says we will. We'll see. As you know, I already opened up this to the more accurate scale size, and we're going to see a lot more interior in there that way, and I made, of course, the new window. So what I want to do real quick here, just because I want to have a look-see, is I'm going to hook this up. I'm going to stick this in here, tape it in temporarily, because this section is all glued in very firmly. But I still need to, of course, paint this pod and get the pod in there. I just love the way those fit in there like that. That's so cool. Anyway, yeah, so I'm not going to put this in permanently, even though it is ready. I'm just going to tape it in for now, and I'm going to put all this back together, and we'll take a look at it. Temporary tape things together. And take a look at, because remember, it wasn't very bright inside there, and that was really bothering me. But also, the shuttle bay, or the pod bay, I keep saying shuttle bay, wasn't finished. It is finished now, with the exception of the pods. I like my fingers, so I think we'll keep them. Yeah, good discovery, and close up with those. Not closing up all the way. There it goes. Oh yeah, it's tape. Okay, it's the duct tape. Whack, whack, whack. Okay, so. Now we can take a look inside. Okay, I turned off the lights, and I can see that I've got more light blocking to do. Actually, what I'm going to do is shield the lights from the top, but that's really cool. And then I'm curious, with this sitting here, I love the light hitting it. I wish we didn't have that skylight above. I love the light hitting it from the back. And I'm just curious, how much can we see in there? Get the camera real close to the front again and see how much of all that hard work we did in the interior can be seen. Do you see my problem? You don't see much. I mean, if you put the human eye down there and you look around, yeah, you can. You can. It's difficult with the camera. I'll take some stills and it'll show better how that's going to look. So this is going really, really well, and this is kind of a group effort between Falconware and Elliot Brown and myself, and it's really, really a lot of fun. But I think we've got this model on the run now, finally. The next part I'm going to do, of course, is the cockpit, and since it's been opened up, just looking like this and that, yes, we're going to be able to see a lot in there, because you got to realize that people will come over to see your model and they'll go, ooh, let's look inside. Ooh, what you got in there? And they will see that stuff. So I go, wow, you really have an interior in there. And it's pretty accurate too. In fact, it's real accurate. So that's what we're going to be doing on Mondays. We're going to be, or next week, we're going to be installing the cockpit, painting the pods. I'm going to try to light one, at least get the headlights lit up on it, and which will be really nice. And with any luck and a strong wind, we may finish next week, but it's doubtful. But So there will be now, of course, a part 6. And I believe this is part 5. Maybe this is part 6. But anyway, you're enjoying it, and so am I. So I'll see you next week for more fun with Discovery.